Minimum wage is the lowest legally mandated pay that employers can offer their workers. It exists to safeguard employees' rights, help them with basic living costs, and promote fair economic growth. In Malaysia, the current minimum wage is RM1,500 per month. However, under the new minimum wage order, this figure will rise to RM1,700 beginning in February 2025. The adjustment applies to both local and foreigner employees in the private sector, covering full-time and part-time workers under standard employment contract. By raising the wage floor, the government aims to ease the burden of rising living expense while ensuring the development remains inclusive and equitable. Malaysia introduced its minimum wage policy in 2013, covering all workers except domestic workers. At the same time, the wage was set at RM900 per month in Peninsular Malaysia and RM800 in Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan. This marked a turning point in labour market reform, as it gave employees a legal safeguard for fair pay and helped reduce income inequality across regions. Since then, the minimum wage has risen steadily to reflect economic change and the rising cost of living. In 2025, the government established a national minimum wage of RM1,700 per month nationwide, underscoring its commitment to enhance worker welfare. Wage levels are determined through proposal from the National Wage Consultative Council (NWCC), which consult with stakeholders before submitting recommendation. The government may accept or request revision depending on broader economic condition. The NWCC follow clear criteria and methodology to ensure decision and evidence-based and alignment with socio-economic realities. This structure process strike a balance between the needs of worker, employers, and the economy. The NWCC was established under National Wage Consultative Council Act 2011. It is composed of technical experts and must meet at least 4 times a year. Before making recommendation, the council engage the public, collect and analysis data, and publish research on wage and socio-economic factors. This consultative approach promotes transparency and inclusivity. However, enforcement and adequacy remain challenged, especially in high-cost urban areas.
Okay, so now we move to the objective of minimum wage in Malaysia. So the objective of minimum wage in Malaysia policy is to make sure that the basic needs of workers and their family are met. It helps to protect low-income workers by giving them a more fair income and giving them a chance to live more comfortably. This policy also encourages business to improve their productivity by using better technology and offering a higher skill job. With these changes, Malaysia also hopes to reduce its dependence on unskilled foreign labour. In 2024, during Budget 2025 announcement, Malaysia introduced a new wage adjustment. This decision was guided by an important purpose to make sure every worker earns wages that are meaningful and fair. The government hopes that this wages increase will boost worker purchasing power, support economic growth, and create wage equality across different sectors. It's also aimed to help workers handle rising living costs, especially in the cities. In the beginning, 1st August 2025, minimum wage in Malaysia will rise to RM1,700 per month. This change will apply to almost all employers and includes update daily and hourly rate based on different work week system. After this recent minimum wage increase in Malaysia, this increase in minimum wage did not cause excessive inflation. From the report from the Ministry of Finance and Bank Negara Malaysia, the increase of inflation rate after a new minimum wage is stable between 2 and 3% only.
Now, we will discuss about several positive impacts when increasing minimum wage. Raising wage can boost jobs because a higher minimum wage makes people spend more, giving companies more customers and increasing their need for employees. More pay also encourage people to work and reduce turnover, helping firms operate well. As firms adapt, the economy expands and workers increase to 7.106 million in 2021. EOSM 2023 also shows services and manufacturing kept recording higher employment. Overall, although employers were worried, the minimum wage did not cause big layoffs and even supported job creation. Other positive impact increasing minimum wage are giving advantage to employees to reduce poverty since it enables them to get sufficient income to afford their basic needs such as food, house rent and daily bills. A guaranteed income will allow the lowest paid workers to have a more secure life and families can survive easier in the current economy. In 2005, a study revealed that 92% of Malaysian workers were living below the RM800 poverty line, which is a reason why the increased minimum wage are so crucial. In addition, increasing minimum wage encourages companies to improve their business by spending on better technology and giving workers chance to improve their skills. When wage go up, business will start to not relying on cheap labor and they will look for smarter and more efficient ways to operate. This not only help workers learn and grow, but allow business to improve producing goods. At the same time, better pay, more stable jobs and chance to learn new skill will attract more locals into industry in they reject before. For the long run, this change guide Malaysia toward a stronger and high-income economy even though it takes time.
Next, we look at some of the negative impacts of raising the minimum wage. The possibility of increased prices is also one of the significant issues. Increase in the minimum wage will increase labor costs on the companies. To deal with this issue, most of the businesses increase their product and service prices. The result is inflation, in which the overall cost of living increases. Finally, the increment of workers might not translate into them feeling even richer due to an increase in daily costs. In the studies, it shows that even though Malaysia's minimum wage has increased about 90% since its introduction, which is rising from RM900 ringgit in 2013 to the current RM1,700 ringgit in 2025. The cost of living also goes up, which means workers would still struggle financially, and the increased inflation can slow down economic growth by reducing purchasing power and weakening the overall economic activity. Another significant impact is the risk of unemployment, which can ultimately slow down a country's economic growth. When the minimum wage is set at a rate higher than the market rate, it causes some employers may not able to pay their employees' salaries. As a result, small businesses, especially those operating on tight margins, may reduce hiring or even cut existing jobs. Studies show that minimum wage has influenced the rate of unemployment in Malaysia using the information available in 2013 to 2023. It shows that there is a consistent positive relationship between the minimum wage and unemployment, which is the unemployment rate increased from 11.7% at the 10th quintile to the 13.7% at the 50th quintile. Furthermore, an increase in the minimum wage does not yield much impact on alleviation of relative poverty. This is because many minimum wage earners are not the main breadwinners in their households. They are usually the second income earners. In the studies, it shows that the potential impact of minimum wage on poverty in Malaysia is influenced by a high number of low-paid workers. In illustration, statistics in 2005 indicated that 92% of the total employees in Malaysia earn a monthly basic wage that fell below the poverty line of income that is below RM800 ringgit. This showed a concern for workers' rights because many workers still earn wages that are not enough to cover basic needs. So stronger wage protection and fairer working conditions are needed.
After discussing about pros and cons of minimum wages, now let us talk about how to enforce minimum wages. There are many ways, but the most immediate ways have three. First of all is labor inspection. Labor inspection are when authorities visit workplaces to make sure employers follow the minimum wages law or any regulation. This strategy is under the responsibility of the Ministry of Human Resource. They can check salaries record, working hour, or investigate any complaints. So, this helps to ensure that every worker receives at least minimum wages. This can be shown by data from areas in Malaysia that have been inspected, such as Johor. Johor has more than 2,500 inspections in many workplaces and about more than 1,200 notices were issued to employers who do not comply with the law. This proves how inspection is crucial.
The second way to enforce minimum wages is employers should make a strategic plan. This is because when a company implements minimum wages, it will increase the financial costs. Many manufacturers expect their costs will increase by 5% to 10% in 2025 due to higher minimum wages. Therefore, if employers prepare the planning early, they can manage their resources better and avoid penalties if they do not follow the wage regulation. Thus, it will increase worker purchasing power when they receive stable income. Last but not least, employers should work together with workers. This cooperation is important because it helps to understand the needs from both sides. This includes fringe benefit, which mean additional benefit that are given to workers beyond their regular wage. For example, health insurance, meal allowance, bonuses, wellness program, and so on. This benefit will fulfill workers' basic needs and make them feel satisfied. When they feel satisfied, they tend to perform well while doing the job. As we know, job satisfaction has a positive relationship with job performance. In conclusion, by applying this enforcement will improve minimum wages in Malaysia because regulation allow workers to receive fair pay. This leads them to spend more on goods and service since their demand increase. At the same time, firms can increase their supply to gain more revenue. Therefore, the government can reduce poverty by protecting the rights of low-income workers and decrease income disparity. Overall, economic growth in Malaysia will also get better.
Assalamualaikum, nama saya Iza. Apakah nama Puan dan apa pekerjaan Puan sekarang?
Nama saya Wani. Pekerjaan saya sebagai staf di kedai ini.
Baiklah, saya sekarang sedang buat satu interview berkaitan dengan gaji minimum di Malaysia. So, boleh tak saya nak tahu pandangan akak tentang gaji minimum dekat Malaysia?
Bagi saya, gaji minimum sekarang ni 1,007. Tapi setaklah boleh tampung hidup saya lagi lah.
Adakah akak rasa gaji minimum sekarang mencukupi untuk hidup kat Malaysia?
Bagi saya, sebab komitmen sekarang tak berapa banyak. Untuk saya bayar motor saja. Yang tu je lah. Cukup je untuk saya.
Jadi, so gaji minimum sekarang rasanya terkesan tak dengan perbelanjaan akak seharian?
Kalau ikutkan tu, bagi orang yang banyak komitmen yang perlu dibayar mungkin tak cukup, tapi bagi saya cukup je. Okay.
Terima kasih atas kerjasama akak.
Okay, sama.
To conclude the interview, the minimum wage in Malaysia helps her to cover basic daily needs such as motorcycle maintenance costs. However, it is still not enough for someone who has a lot of commitment, which will be challenging for them to survive. Overall, while the minimum wage provides basic financial support, it may not be able to fully improve the quality of workers' life. Therefore, the government and the private sector need to provide the best support to improve the living standards of workers.
To sum it all up, minimum wages is one of the important keys to protect workers from exploitation. Even though it has become a challenge to Malaysia, each side plays an important role, whether it is individually, NGO or government, in order to ensure that these policies can give a positive impact to all society. Hence, Malaysia needs to strengthen this minimum wage policy and align Malaysia's goal of aiming to improve living standard and carry economic growth. This was announced by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim during the 2025 budget presentation.
We hope that minimum wage policy in Malaysia can balance workers' rights and improve economic growth.